not only have I always wanted to do this, but I think this city is begging for this.
I've been having to run around. I haven't been able to sleep at night.
Mike panics, okay?
It's costing us money.
I work really hard to
Sean,
make sure
I think you did
that the partnership
I think
has
you did a great
trust,
job.
and you're telling me there's no trust
I
there.
trust you, Sean.
No, you don't.
I do trust
no,
you.
No, you don't.
There's a well-known saying that goes, never mix business with friendship. Well, this is the story of two friends who thought they were an exception. Five years ago, Sean and Michael opened a club restaurant in downtown Vancouver together. It hasn't all been smooth sailing.
Sean likes to have control of everything that's going on.
Mike's explosive. Michael is absolutely explosive.
If it's not his vision, then it's not the way it should be.
They decided to put their friendship to the test. In just 3 months, they want to turn Century House, a heritage building in a not-so-happening hood, into the destination for Vancouver's hippest and hottest.
Century's the magnum opus.
It's a place to have fun.
Fun was not part of the history at Century House. It was built as a bank in 1911. The space comes complete with barrel-vaulted plaster ceilings and classical moldings. After the bank closed, it became a gentleman's club, then a restaurant in the 80s. The building's tawdry elegance was irresistible.
You know, it's that beautiful woman that you know you're going to fall in love with, and you know she's going to be trouble.
When they opened their last restaurant, they had a designer, but it didn't work out, and they fired her.
So this looks poppy and modern, right?
Yeah.
And this looks really nice and old. And the two of them work really, really well together.
Sean's not a designer, but he begged Michael to let him be the designer and the general contractor.
It's hard to feel comfortable on someone who has limited experience.
So this is what I want in front of the glass. Now you can see what it's going to look like, except you got to imagine a light behind that.
And this is going to go on the bar?
Michael, the money guy, wanted to say no, but couldn't.
I didn't want him to be the designer at Sanctuary. Maybe I'm too nice.
Brand new idea.
Brand new idea?
So I'm not really sure about this one, but I've seen it done. Imagine a circle, and imagine that it's really uniform, but then not. It's all chaotic.
And what's it going to look like with light behind it? You know what my fear is?
The project is costing $450,000. Most people would want to restore Century House. Not Sean. One night, he had a vision.
Okay, well, I'm launching this on the world. It's the West Coast Latin cowboy theme.
Sean wants Bonanza and the Cuban Revolution. Lots of leather and murals. But he won't drop any plans or write up specs, because that would limit his creativity.
He's doing what he calls an organic design. So he's kind of like, oh, we'll do this here, and then, you know, well, we'll leave the walls to the end. And I'm thinking, you know, we should know what the color of the walls are at this point.
You know, people are waiting for the next big Latin West Coast cowboy designer to come along, and I might be it.
Sean's also had a vision about the food. It, too, will be West Coast Latin cowboy.
And we've hand-rolled tortillas, and we've made salsas and moles, and you get the, you know, the sense of the stories behind the food. It's fantastic food.
He's hired Remy Dubois, a hotshot chef from the States. He wants Remy to chicify those peasant classics with modern French techniques and exotic Latin ingredients.
The challenge is bringing products in, such as Oaxacan-style cheeses, olives from Portugal, and radishes from Spain.
I am really stoked about this because not only have I always wanted to do this, but I think this city is begging for this.
Sean talks, and he's a dreamer, and I never am sure with what he hopes for and what he talks about we're going to get.
Remy's been cooking at their other restaurant, Lucy May Brown, since he came to Vancouver last month, and the town has taken notice.
I went to Lucy May Brown and I tasted quite a few of his new additions to the menu. And they're outstanding. And the kids got some serious game.
Where we're going to go on the left or the right?
10 weeks to go. For the last few days, Sean's been dragging around Michael, who has bad arthritis, hunting for what's in his head.
It's super comfortable, hey? It's thick, like it's super thick. Referencing that cowboy,
Right.
you know, the Latin cowboy.
How much that is?
Cheap. Super cheap.
When you clean it, it won't have like rust on it, will it?
Yeah, it'll still have rust on it. That's the idea. Just make it look old and beat up.
Trust me, it's fabulous. It's awesome. It's beautiful. It's the words we hear all the time, right? So you're kind of, you wouldn't hire, if you hire a designer that would say that, you would fire them.
You know what? Mike isn't confident, and he's not confident in anybody's craft.
Opening night is 9 weeks away.
Wow, that's pretty...
It's bold, right?
Yeah,
but that's
it
what we
is.
wanted, right? Well, that's what I wanted.
Right.
In Vancouver, Sean Sherwood has named himself the first ever Latin West Coast cowboy designer. He's planning to transform a heritage bank building into a Latin hotspot.
This city is begging for this.
But his partner, Michael Mitten, is worried that Sean's in over his head.
It's hard to feel comfortable on someone who has limited experience.
It's 8 weeks before opening night. Sean's been keeping the fruits of his labor from Michael. He's been afraid Michael won't get it, but today, Michael's insisted on a preview.
Hey. Wow, it's Che, right?
Yeah.
So what was, like, what is it supposed to represent for the restaurant?
Well, it's Latin.
Wow, that's pretty...
It's bold, right?
Yeah,
but that's
it
what we
is.
wanted, right? Well, that's what I wanted.
Right. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to say. When was the murals, when did that come? How is that going to affect the rest of the design?
My biggest fight with Michael is making him feel at ease. And he won't feel at ease. It doesn't matter if Van Gogh is painting, you know, the restaurant. He won't be at ease.
My fear is that's going to look like... I'm serious.
Flummoxed, Michael retreats upstairs to count some beans. Sean's managed to stay on budget, and despite Michael's resistance, vows to continue the good fight.
He's looking right at you, right through you. We all want to get our asses kicked out of our routine a little, you know? We want to get shocked a little. We want to get pushed a little. There's so many... Oh, my God, you're painting over it. Well, I didn't want to get rid of that part. Just the half.
Really?
Like up to the crack. The horses were fantastic.
No, you said the whole thing.
It's now 6 weeks before opening night, and the work continues on the murals. Over at Lucy May Brown, Chef Remy Dubois has found all the products he needs and is rustling up some Latin cowboy grub. In the short time he's been in Vancouver, he's gotten a handle on his two bosses.
It's like an old married couple.
To avoid the inevitable bickering, he's decided to separate them for today's tasting.
Mike's either just gonna say it sucks or it's great. Sean's gonna, dilly-dally around saying what he can make better.
True to script, the boys don't see eye to eye on the pork bellies and plantain fritters.
The word pork belly, it just doesn't, it's not appealing, right?
Nor can they agree about the Dungeness crab burritos with sorbet and guacamole.
This is really good.
I'm wondering if it's too deconstructed.
Saffron is an acquired taste, so naturally, the saffron and clove-infused bouillabaisse is a lightning rod.
I'm not a big fan of saffron.
Oh, I love the saffron.
And here's just another chance for Abbott and Costello to disagree. Spanish sea bass with pickled garlic and cilantro.
I'm not really feeling this one.
It's amazing.
Finally, The robust, gamey taste of venison loin with roasted sweet potatoes and blistered asparagus proves they deserve each other.
I think he's gonna love this one. Yeah.
I have to think about it. It's one of these things where I don't know if I'm sold on it.
If he doesn't, well, he's nuts.
I'm full.
For Remy, the tasting went well, meaning it's over. He's been cooking in restaurants for 14 years and was last at the Ritz-Carlton in Boston, and figures it's not the owners that matter, it's the food.
Now the tweaking can be done for likes and dislikes, but the overall thing on the menu is it's so late in the game right now, and I just hope that everybody can agree on that.
Yeah. Do I not know what I'm doing then?
Well, I think I
not know what?
I think you have.
Question,
I think
yes
you
or
have
no?
really good taste.
In Vancouver, it's rained for 40 days and 40 nights. And the forecast is for more stormy weather until opening night at Century. Everyone is feeling warm and cozy about Chef Remy's West Coast Latin cowboy menu, featuring such items as fried pork bellies and Spanish sea bass. But there's still a chill in the air about Sean's design.
My fear is that's going to look like. I'm serious.
Opening night was supposed to be just a week away. But yesterday, Michael got nailed at City Hall. Sean had a new heating and ventilation system put on a heritage building without getting a permit. Turns out, he needed one.
It's going to give us a delay of 2 weeks. The person who dropped the ball is the general contractor, who in this case is Sean.
Well, you know what? I feel like the HVAC guys really dropped the ball on this.
I've been having to run around and haven't been able to sleep at night.
Mike panics, okay?
It's costing us money.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating.
And I'd like to say something, but I just can't.
And so now he's enjoying my nightmare.
I just want to get this restaurant open.
Problem is, they've hired and trained the team in the kitchen, and they're ready to get going. The managers and servers in the front of the house are ready too. Sean and Michael have to pay them all. Add the rent, and they'll be out the $40,000 they set aside for emergency use.
I think the person that I'm mad at the most is myself. And I think that what I should have done at the very beginning is say, no, we should bring people in that are professionals, that know what they're doing. It's time. We have to open up. We want to get open. This Valentine's Day weekend, we could sell $20,000. And now we don't get that opportunity.
I don't know. You know what? I'm frustrated and a little annoyed with how long it's taken. It is a huge deal, and it sure was a huge deal when you're calling me. And I'm training all 30 staff, and I'm trying to look like, hey, everything's under control.
Why train these people when we're 3 weeks away?
Do I not know what I'm doing then?
Well, I think
Do I not know what?
I think you have.
Yes
I think
or
you have
no?
really good taste.
Okay. Do I not know what I'm doing?
Not on everything, no.
Okay, like what, for example?
Permits.
Permits.
Permits. You don't know what you're doing on permits.
Well, you know what?
I'm not blaming you.
I really resent the fact
Sean,
that you're blaming me
I'm not blaming
for the HVAC issue.
I'm not blaming you.
Well, it
Trust
sure
me.
sounds like it.
No.
I worked really hard to
Sean,
make sure
I think you did
that
a-
the partnership
I think you
has
did a great
trust,
job.
and you're telling me there's no trust
I
there.
trust you, Sean.
No, you don't.
I do trust
no,
you.
you don't.
I do trust
Well,
you.
I trust me, though.
I trust you 100%.
"24 hours till opening. The permits are supposed to be ready today, but there are never any guarantees at City Hall.
I'll sit down and cry. I honestly think I'll lose it. I think I'll just.
If it means we've got to go down to City Hall, drag the mayor out of his office, and get that permit, we're going to do it.
This has just been a nightmare. Like, this has been a total nightmare.
Sean is otherwise occupied, so if there's any dragging the mayor out to be done, Michael will have to do it. But he decides to follow the rules. First, the permit isn't ready. Then the permit lady is on lunch. And finally,
Got it.
opening night is 18 hours away.
I don't want to feed any more of his huge ego, but
He knows that it's great. I know that it's great.
In Vancouver, Michael and Sean's friendship is on the line over the opening of Century.
I trust you, Sean.
No, you don't.
I do trust
No,
you.
you don't.
I do trust you.
Sean's miscalculation over the permits has set them back 2 weeks.
Got it.
But finally, they're ready to go.
I mean, it's been a long process. Problems with the city have been just terrible.
Opening night is 8 hours away. They didn't open in time for Valentine's Day, but the delay means that there's no last-minute hassles in the front of the house. After 3 months and $450,000, a Vancouver relic, a former bank, has become the world's first modern Latin cowboy establishment.
Modern Latin cowboy, modern Latin cowboy, modern Latin cowboy, modern Latin cowboy, modern Latin cowboy.
Inside Century, Michael and Sean seem to have made peace with each other.
Mike, someone's gonna vacuum that, eh? Like, it's been there for hours now. Can I get a 7-Up, please?
Secretly, Michael's even admitting he's almost happy at last.
It looks great. I mean, you know, I wouldn't say this to Sean, but he did a great job.
He knows that it's great. I know that it's great.
I don't want to feed any more of his huge ego, but you know, I'm really proud of what he did.
But outside Century, the buzz is skeptical.
And seeing a portrait of Che Guevara up there kind of mortified me. Okay, what kind of place is this? And does the owner have some semblance of a political agenda he'd like to diffuse to diners in between courses?
Dude, I can't understand a word you're saying.
But it's Remy who's feeling the heat. In just 1 hour, the verdict will be in, not only on the Latin cowboy designer, but on Remy's Latin cowboy food.
All right, guy, Remy gave me 5. Get your kitchen cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I gave them to him, so he gets to use those 5 times on me, up until the opening.
I think he's going to use 3 right now.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, good luck, man. All right.
Okay, everybody, when you got 5 minutes to get the room dialed and ready for people.
Sean and Michael have worked the phones to make sure that the right people are here tonight. Media, restaurant people, insiders, and trendy local trendsetters.
We're full. We're actually a little bit too full. We're 2 tables overbooked, but that's okay.
And they're all saying the right things.
The painting and the distress work and the combination of the leathers, it really is spectacular.
I'm Spanish, actually, from Mexico. I love the decoration, everything. Authentic.
It's gorgeous. It was stunning.
So far, the fiesta couldn't be going better. But will the guests also say "sí" to the food?
Where are your chilies? Cut your chicken. Get your chicken in the oven.
The menu features braised short ribs and beef cheek adobo.
Exquisite. It's delicious. Yeah, really nice.
Spanish lubina, sea bass wrapped in potato and cilantro with pickled garlic and olives. There's also paella, made with roasted halibut and saffron seafood risotto.
It's delicious.
It's really good.
Really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bouillabaisse with roasted seafood and root vegetables. Cuban rubbed wild boar with honey masa cakes and fried quail eggs.
The food's fantastic.
I wasn't going to say this to you, but I'm very lucky to have you as a business partner.
Oh, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. And I as well.
Maybe you can mix business with friendship after all.
To Century.
Find more at fineliving.com. Real information for real people.